My question is to the principal. I'm sorry I forgot your name, from Jalandhar. How often should peer checking be allowed in the classroom?
I'm Rashmi.
Yeah, sorry, Rashmi. How often should peer checking be allowed in the classroom?
It's not the matter of being often. It can be, it's a classroom pedagogy, it's a strategy. So whenever the teacher feels, first important thing is sharing the rubrics, the success criteria. Because you can't give it to the other child to check it before it has been made clear to them that what are the various rubrics, what are the parameters, for what you have to give 1 mark or 2 mark, or for what you have to give what grade. Right? So once that has been shared, and success criteria preferably should be made along with the student by the teacher, right? So that the children are very clear about it. Once they're clear about it, the strategy is not about how often to use. Whenever the teacher feels the need, she can use it. Right? And whenever she wants children to specially have an in-depth knowledge of the thing, because when they check for each other, they are being very, very critical. And they know that they will be challenged by their peer. This is what I said, that they talk in the language which they are comfortable with, which they can't challenge the teacher. Why did you not give me 1 mark here? And the other peer will have to convince why he deducted that 1 mark. So it has to be very, very clear. The rubrics or the standards or the success criteria, whatever you might like to say, whenever the teacher has made it clear, she can use this strategy.
Yes, please.
There's a question coming up here from the third row. Mike, DJ, please.
Myself, Professor R.C. Sharma from Dronacharya College of Engineering, Gurgaon. My question is to Shri Yogesh Gambhir. You are talking about the introduction of the smartphone and tablets. My general question is, we are in India, we have to deal with all category of the peoples. As far as DAV school is concerned or some rapid schools are concerned, this is true, this can be introduced, but we look the overall picture in India and we talk about the primary and the secondary schools or government school at least in India. Then the people come from all categories, weaker section as well as middle section as well as higher section of people. So how do you make it possible to introduce these things in all the schools so that I am talking in terms of Indian context?
Sir, you are right that it is not possible for the government schools or for some of the schools, those who can't afford to have all these technological gadgets in their school. But what I feel is, if it is not possible for every child to get it, maybe in the government schools, government should have planned certain policies, like in Punjab. I am from Punjab. In Punjab, the government is providing this ICT labs in the school, or that web portals in the school, internet connectivities in the school. So if it is not possible to have all the things in a single classroom or in every classroom, maybe they have set up one lab over there in the school and they can take the children in that room for that thing. For the elite schools, you are right, they can do in every classroom, they can convert every classroom into a smart classroom. But if we talk about the schools where the poor children they are studying, those who can't afford, or the fee is not so high, school is not in a position to buy such things. If it is a government school, so it is definitely from the government side, they should frame certain policies. They should spend some money on the government school. Students from that school also learn from it.
Could we just have 2 more questions?
This question is for Yogesh, sir. I'm Monica Bharta from DAV International Amritsar. Sir, don't you think the tablets will hammer the writing expression of the child? What about the writing part?
It's there, writing part is there. Children, they are supposed to write for the summative exam, they are supposed to write only, they're not going to take tablet with them. And moreover, all the electronic gadgets, they are, I said, it's not specifically for the students always.
No, sir, but we are giving them the food. We are giving them the thing. Spoon feeding we are giving it. Don't you think so?
No, it's not for every content or it's for every topic that is to be downloaded in the tablet itself. Certain things are to be done in the class practically, means by writing itself. but certain things can be done with the help of tablets. It's a both-way process. It's a both-way process.
There's one more question. Please give a mic here at the center.
My question is for Mr. Arora. So how much was it difficult to survive so many different types of schools and teaching methodologies, sir?
Okay, that's very personal. Yeah, see, what happened was my parents were basically researchers with different organizations like the World Bank, UNDP, universities. So they were always moving around. And I kind of, the adaptability of children, we underestimate it. We feel that children can't learn English as well at the age of 3. Kaise padha rahe hain? I think as adults we think it's very tough, but for me it became natural for me. And every year I would go to a new school, I would make new friends, and then I would move on. So, but what that gave me was that ability to question and compare that school, that thing was good, this thing, that school was good, and I would mentally make those notes. I never had an idea that I would be actually implementing those best practices that I was noticing across all these schools in my day-to-day life. So the power of a child is actually, when people say, why are you teaching English at the age of 2? Then we start with English words, English phrases, we gradually introduce them to English language step by step, and people say it's not natural, which we taught only in the mother tongue. And I've seen children respond beautifully, and I'm an example of that. I mean, I do not consider it unnatural at any stage. I felt that anybody who studied 14 years in the same school can exposure and I have a wide range of exposure. It's made me what I am today. It's made me question everything that I see around me, and that's how I could build an entrepreneurial, innovative business model as well.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you all very much for those very interesting questions. Before I wrap up, can I just say one or two things that I picked up from the speakers just now. One especially important thing about scaling up without compromise with quality, and the fact that not innovating is not an option. It's a really strong message, I think, to come across. The other is something that came quite commonly across all themes, the role of the teacher being a facilitator and bringing together a community of trust, taking risks, but allowing teachers to take risks and make mistakes, and they will in turn then pass that on to the students, allow them to make mistakes, because we must all remember how we've learned things. Many of the things, our best lessons, have been through the mistakes that we have made. And then finally, the fact that assessment is not something to be afraid of. Assessment is there as a tool. When you go into the classroom, the first thing you do is make an assessment of your students. And every time you teach them, you make an assessment of whether you have helped them to learn whatever it was. So assessment should be flexible, and it should be jointly collaborative with the students. So again, once more, thank you very much indeed for the speakers. It's been a really very interesting session.
Thank you very much. Angela, we'd like you to give away some of the mementos as part of the customary Thanksgiving. May I request you to present the first memento to Mr. Amol Arora. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. Mr. Yogesh Gambhir, Principal, DRV DAV Centenary Public School at Philor. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Ms. Rashmi Vij, Principal, Police, DAV Public School, Jalandhar. And Mr. Gambhir, may I request you to do us a favor and honor Ms. Angela French, Director of Operations, South and Southeast Asia, Cambridge English Language Assessment. Thank you. Thank you very much. We break now for coffee, which will be served right outside in the foyer. And we come back within, will somebody give me an indication how many minutes later? 15 minutes for the last session before we get on to the awards. Thank you.